Good morning. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy Friday. Here's Laura with today's announcements.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a white day, and it's Friday, September 1st. There will be no school on Monday, September 4th, due to the Labor Day holiday. Woo! Class of 2024, registration is open for the October 26th School Day SAT. And Class of 2025, registration is open for the October 31st PSAT. Please check your STJ Labs accounts for the registration links. See Ms. Carr in guidance with any questions. Auditions for the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee will be held on Tuesday and Wednesday next week in the Black Box from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Sign-ups will begin at 3 p.m., and you do not have to attend both days of the auditions. All audition information is on the Academy Theater Canvas page. Come on down and support the varsity girls soccer team at their home opener against U32 tonight at 7 on the Fairbanks Field under the lights. Happy birthday today to Cameron Dwyer, Castine Lizotte, and Zuri Douglas. Happy birthday on Sunday to Lillian Chase, and on Monday to Kate Yang, Chase Drinkwater, and Simon Robertson. Happy birthday. Friday, we have varsity and JV field hockey at North Country at 4 and 5:15. Please dismiss the teams at 1:15. We'll have JV and varsity girls soccer versus U32 at 5 and 7, and JV varsity girls volleyball versus CVU 4:30 to 6. This will be a home game, and the theme will be green out. Saturday will be JV varsity boys soccer scrimmage versus Mount Manfield at 11 a.m. and boys varsity cross country at Essex High School at 10:30 a.m. Have a great day.
Thank you, Laura. Perhaps you, like me, are unfamiliar with this fall's musical, and so I would just point out a clarification. So if you heard audition for the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, it's not a spelling bee, it's the show, so please be aware of that. It's my pleasure on this Friday to reflect a little bit on this first full week before we enjoy a holiday weekend. And so I do want to say, after hearing from Laura yesterday, from Ms. Hanson, and from Mr. Rainville, we kicked off our home athletic season last night. And I want to comment on what you heard yesterday and then how you came out as a community last night. And I would say that I'm very proud of our community. I thought our student section was awesome last night. And so I want to commend you on that. As Co said right before chapel started, he said, "We stayed positive even in the face of some disrespect." And so if you weren't at last night's game, the student section, the Hartford students sat right next to our student section. And I thought you did exactly what you were called to do yesterday, and that is to rally around our team and our community and be positive and not worry about how others may conduct themselves. So great job last night, and I'd ask you to bring that same energy and that same positive approach to tonight's game as you come out and support our girls' soccer team. So again, as I reflect over this past week, I had the pleasure of seeing a number of things. I was able to attend a meeting between some of Senator Bernie Sanders' staffers and our CTE students, and it was an excellent start to the year because I got to hear some of our students' reflections. The staffers from Senator Sanders' staff were asking about what CTE was like, how it prepared our students in those courses, and what their outlook was, and maybe what some of their concerns were as well. And so I had a chance to hear from some of you. And so here are some of the things that I heard that I'd like to share with you because I think they're important and they have application for each of us. So one of the things I heard from Cadence DeWeese Crane, she said that she actually benefited greatly from taking CTE courses. She was in Ms. McGarvin's class last year, and she had an opportunity to have some experiences. And one of them was an internship, and she realized something that she thought she really wanted to do for years. She actually realized she doesn't want to do anymore, and that's a valuable learning lesson. And she has a new and updated plan, and I thought that was something that was really interesting for a senior this year to realize that. And her comments were very mature and very complete, and so I was impressed by that. I heard from new resident student Zakir Hasanov, and his comments, after just having been here for a handful of days, was very thankful that not just in CTE classes, but just in general, he compared his previous school with St. Johnsbury Academy. He realized that he has a number of social interactions that he didn't have a chance to have during the academic experience. And that was powerful to hear that, and he was excited about his CTE class and the type of collaborative approach that he was getting there. We heard from students like Ethan St. Lawrence, who likewise just starting this class this year, and he's in entrepreneurship, but he enjoyed the collaborative, creative problem-solving process. Spencer Hayes represented a number of students who said something to the tune of, I really like working with my hands and being active, and a class in which I sit down for long periods of time maybe just isn't as much my thing, and it was good to hear that as well. And so I would offer my own anecdotes. So 31 years ago, I sat, seniors where you are right now, not here at St. Johnsbury Academy, but my high school experience, I sat and I realized as a senior, I didn't truly know what I wanted to do. And obviously, I figured that out as we went along. But my high school experience, I still had dreams at the time of being a pro baseball player. And while that might sound, as we sit here today, that might sound a little naive or immature, 5'7", maybe 5'6". There aren't too many Dustin Pedroias around, but I still dreamt of being a pro baseball player, and I thought that might be a possibility. I took an inventory of interests test, and I'm looking around the room. I imagine many of your teachers did something similar in high school. And I remember sitting down and taking this 100-question test, and afterwards it said, you'll probably enjoy doing something that involves science and music. And I thought, wow, that really narrows it down. Honestly, though, it was informative, and it did touch on the fact that while I do love music, and it feels like a former life now, but I used to be a musician. But of course, I love science, and some of you know that I taught chemistry here for many years, and science comes into play in my private business as well. But the inventory was not terribly helpful, and at the time, the recommendations for students was simply go to college, right? So adults around the room, I see some heads nodding. Go to college, find out what you want to do, right? And so the world has changed quite a lot. The cost of college has changed dramatically since the faculty members here most of us went to school. It's very expensive. And so that's a hard and expensive place to go and figure things out nowadays. So I don't know that I would give that advice. In fact, I wouldn't give that advice to everybody because it's not appropriate. And so that would be possibly something that you could really miss the mark on if you thought that was your next step. And so I'm really pleased, bringing this back to CTE, I'm really pleased that we have a department like our Career and Technical Education Department and so many other departments where folks around you are helping you figure things out. And so it was a pleasure to hear from those students as they are considering those things. And so our application for each of us today is I want you to be thoughtful. So last week, I asked you to think about your capstone for those of you who are taking capstone this semester. But I asked you all to think a little bit about what you wanted to learn. But I'd also ask you to think a little bit about how you best learn and also what your working preferences are. And those are questions that I don't think we often hear enough. So how do you like to work? And maybe you don't know yet. Right? Do you like finishing a day and being physically exhausted Is that good work for you? Is that satisfying? And is that meaningful? Do you like feeling like you are mentally exhausted at the end of a good day of work? Is that something that you like? Maybe that's more of your working style preference. Or maybe you're somewhere right in between. Something else I'd encourage you to think about as you think a little bit, especially seniors, as you think a little bit about the future, is think about where you would like to be. So think about the geography of where you might spend your time. What kind of doors do you want to open? What doors do you think you're pretty confident perhaps that you can make decisions? They may close, geographic, location, doors, but start to think about those things. And again, as I encouraged you last week as we talked about this semester's learning experience, ask folks around you. So again, personally, I didn't have, no one encouraged me to do that, and I really didn't think about it until much later when I was already in the work, and thank goodness, I love it, and I have loved being in education for my career, but I hadn't really been intentionally thoughtful about it. So we have that opportunity. You have wonderful folks around you, both students and adults in this community, so do tap into them. And with that, I'd like to wish you a nice, long, and restful weekend. Again, come on out this evening. Let's be a great community together again around our girls' soccer team, and have a restful time. Get ready for a shortened week next week. Have a great day. Faculty.